And we're live. I think we're live. Am I live?
I don't know.
I think. Therefore, I am Spock. Yes, I'm alive. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for a Paratalk Live, a special show talking about some spooky stuff. Hopefully, I'm Gareth Davis in Los Angeles, California, and once again, I'm joined by old pal and paranormal enthusiast, Mr. Reeves Cook. There he is, the man himself. Say hello, Reeves.
Oh, yes. Hello, everyone, and I hope you can hear me. I hope Gareth's got my volume on this week.
Yes, I do.
Good.
Stop.
Good.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yes, I have your volume
Good.
on. He's already
Good.
busting my balls. Can you believe this? 3 seconds
Sorry.
into it, he's giving me a hard time.
I'm very sorry.
So how you doing, Reeves? How's things been? We haven't talked for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's been interesting. It's been an interesting week because I'm so used to sort of going to work and having a routine, and I haven't got one at the moment. I'm trying to make up my own routine, which is a bit weird because it's been what? We're in the 4th week now. It's going to go on to 5 weeks next week, so it's going on a bit.
A month, yeah, almost a month of being trapped. You know.
How long is this going to go on for? That's my question.
I don't know, man. But if it goes on any longer, I'm going to be reenacting the last scene of The Shining very, very shortly.
Yes,
it's a challenge sometimes to be stuck at home all day, and then all night, and not being able to go out and do the stuff that you like to do.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely a something new that I've experienced in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Being shut in. I mean, I have been going out, obviously. I have noticed that people are kind of getting a little bit more like we're getting some nice weather, and people are like, well, I want to go out for a little bit. I want to go. I want to extend my 1 hour exercise to maybe an hour and a half. And I've noticed. I went out the other day to get some food, and there's quite a lot of people out that don't look like they're exercising or having their afternoon walk. They just look like they're out for the whole day. So we had a message. I saw it on the government, update website, saying to people, basically, if you don't behave, we're gonna make it even tighter. We're gonna start to sort of kind of close public spaces. So who knows which way it's going to go?
Yeah, it's going to be strange. They've opened a few beaches over here, and yesterday everyone was flocking to the beaches, and they had the cops show up to try and break them up. Hey, don't be going to the beaches. No one's allowed to have a good time. Go home, or stay here and die of a virus, or whatever the case may be. But
Yeah.
Reeves, we're here today to talk spooky.
Oh yes,
we're here to
yes.
talk about things that go bump in the night.
yes. Well, I think what I've done is I thought would be interesting that we include a few EVPs, but I've also included some very strange audio clips which are verging on just strange. I mean, I don't know whether it's a kind of a human condition, but when you listen to something with I advise anyone in the chat, if you've got headphones, put them on, because you'll get the full effect of this audio or these audio clips when you've got headphones on. But if not, then that's fine. I mean, you'll still hear it. But there's something weird about hearing audio, especially if it's a little bit chilling, and you make up the pictures in your head.
Well, that's something that you do quite often. I mean, because I talk to Reeves fairly often, and he's always telling me, go to this YouTube channel.
I watched
with the lights out.
Yep.
Put some headphones on, and just watch this video.
Yep.
And it'll scare the shit out of you. Am I wrong, Reeves?
No, you're not wrong. That's what usually happens. Yeah. That's true.
The terrifying, the scary, and listeners or viewers, you should hit up Reeves for some of these sites because he has some good ones. He introduced me to hello, Shrouded Hand here.
Great, amazing YouTube channel. Great.
Shrouded Hand here.
Yep,
I don't know. Ever since I've watched that YouTube channel, all I want to do is the voice. Shrouded Hand here.
It's a great channel, and I mean, he's got so much content on there that is some of it is not really my thing, but then he's got a kind of little bit for everyone. If you're into that kind of weirdness, it's definitely a rabbit hole you should go down on his channel. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. Since you introduced me to it, I've watched a lot of his stuff, and you're right. It is a mixed bag. Some of it is tremendous, like really, really good, and other stuff it's not really my cup of tea, and you have to kind of sit through it. But it is a mixed bag. Something you should check out. So always remember, Shrouded Hand here.
Yeah, one of many, really. One of many. I think what we should do is, I think we should do on some episodes of Paratalk is just have a Paratalk about these channels and just talk about them, because I'm sure people would love to get all the links and everything to them, and it's like a kind of an encyclopedia of the weird of the kind of the strangeness that YouTube has to offer, because you tend to do that when you click around on YouTube. You'll find a video and then you'll click on another video and another link and another place, and hours have gone by,
Yeah, you fall into the YouTube rabbit hole. Yeah, you go on YouTube with the intention of watching one video, and then 5 hours later, you discover where did the day go? I don't know if people have noticed. Today I'm sporting my my Captain Howdy T-shirt. For those of you in the know, you know who Captain Howdy is. This is the demon from The Exorcist, Pazuzu.
Yes. Oh yes.
And there's a new show on Shudder. Do you get Shudder in the UK?
Yes, I think so. But I've not had any experience of it.
The show's called Cursed Films. And there's like 5 episodes so far, and they talk about certain film productions that were cursed. Yeah. And obviously the first one is The Exorcist. They do The Exorcist, The Omen, Poltergeist, The Crow, and Twilight Zone the movie. So yesterday afternoon, as we're quarantined and we can't go anywhere, we're stuck home, I watched The Exorcist one, and I watched The Omen one, and I watched the Poltergeist one. So I watched those 3, and it was pretty good. It wasn't bad at all. There you go. Richard Davis is on, my brother. Hey, Richard. How's it going?
Hello, Richard.
All right, boy. How's it going, son? Lovely. All right. Richard's on. he's on there right now. He's probably stuck at home, annoying everyone, driving my mother up the wall. But so be it. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Steve Willis says Shudder is a subscription service. Yes, it is a subscription service. You have to pay, I think it's like $6 a month for access to a vast archive of horror, science fiction, and supernatural themed content. Like the Halloween movies, Phantasm, all of those movies are on there to stream in HD on the Shudder channel. People, if you like Paratalk, you'll love Shudder. So get over there if you can. This week's episode of Paratalk brought to you by Shudder. If only.
We can only wish for a regular sponsor.
I'll have to have some of his money. Yeah, so this week on Paratalk, this live version of Paratalk, we're going to have a Q&A in a little bit later on, where we can answer all your questions, whether it's about us or Paratalk in general, or some of the clips we're going to play. So please talk amongst yourselves in the chat room. But if you have any, we'll dip in and out throughout the show. But at the end, we'll give you guys the full venue, so you can talk to us. So clips, we have some clips, and as Reeves, I should put me on when I'm talking, shouldn't I? As Reeves mentioned a little while ago, these clips are disturbing. So I'm going to give you a warning right now. Don't take these clips lightly. They're very, very scary. If it is dark where you are right now, I would say
put a light on.
Turn the lights off. Lower the lights.
Oh yeah, actually turn them off. Yes, actually.
Lower the lights. Put on some headphones. Relax, and listen to some of these terrifying sounds that we have lined up for you. Which, which will hopefully play, and we'll see how it goes. So let me go ahead, and should we line up the first one? What's the first one, Reeves?
The first one is, well, it's called the Moscone of Hell. That's what it was entitled. German de Gosmasser, I think that's his name. It's his Spanish name.
Okay.
He was a paranormal researcher in the 70s, 80s, and he was he came up with this technique for recording discarnate voices, or EVP as we call it today.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he was approached by owners of a villa. They lived on the outskirts of Madrid. They approached him because they wanted to see if he could figure out why only part of their house, their home, which contained a library, and in the library they always felt uneasy. They felt sort of as if they've been watched, and just they didn't want to go in there. So he was invited down to do a bit of an investigation, and he does recording. He does. He sits in the quiet, and he'll just start his recorder, and he'll just sit there and see what he gets. Now this is part of a clip, which is longer, but this is kind of like a segment of it. And this clip is what he recorded after just sitting in the room for a short period of time with a cassette player and just recording to him in total silence. But of course, to his surprise, when he played back the recording, the cassette, he recorded what we're going to hear on his recorder.
Okay, now this clip is approximately 40 seconds long, and I'll adjust the volume as need be. So, are we sitting comfortably? Do you have your headphones on? Put them on. Come on, I see you. Put them on. All right, here we go. Check this out. Now, Reeves, let's be clear here.
Yep.
He recorded this in absolute silence.
Silence, yeah. He sat in the room in total silence, set his recorder going, and upon playback, that's what he recorded.
That's what he heard.
Yeah.
Now, let me just ask the chat room, just so we're not spinning our wheels here. Can somebody type in the chat room if you heard that? Just type yes or no. Hopefully someone will type yes. The only reason I ask is because we were experimenting with the sound earlier on to make sure that it could be broadcast. So we just want to know if you guys were able to hear that. There you go. So Richard said, "My name is Bill Wilkins. I'm 73 and I died in that chair. I'm a G.
I died in a chair downstairs of a brain hemorrhage.
I'm a GHOST." Which Richard, that was very funny and a nice little touch to the show. But finally, yes, Seth. Thank you, Seth. Yes, he says yes. Very good.
Right.
Okay. So tell us more about this clip, because if this clip is in fact real, and
Yes.
I have no doubt that it is, but if it is in fact real, this is some pretty intense stuff. I mean, if you imagine you're just sitting there in a room in complete silence, you got your old cassette recorder just chugging away, recording the air, and then you play back that tape, and you hear this. That's something else.
Yeah, that's definitely it's definitely when you hear recordings like that, immediately you think, well, clearly it's him recording something on the TV. It's recorded something off the TV, or you've clearly faked it. But we do know that audio has picked up, as we'll find as the evening goes on, that audio can pick up anomalous sounds from wherever it might be. And I'm not saying that that these recordings are, the departed or ghosts or whatever, because we don't know. We haven't got the 100% answer. But what's fascinating about this kind of these kind of mystery audio, because we look at EVP, we look at instrumental transcommunication, which is ITC. Instrumental transcommunication is the visual form of EVP, where it's sound as well, but you have picture. So it's the technique of capturing images within frames of recorded film.
Is that the one reason, if I remember correctly, it was I think it was a German researcher whose daughter died, and he had banks of TVs up, and he was trying to feeding the image on the image on the image on the image, and he got a broadcast of his deceased daughter.
No, what he got was he recorded. The way to do it is to create an infinity loop within. So you basically point the camera at a screen, and you get that infinity loop of just screens within screens within screens. Or you can do it another way, where you can point the camera at white noise, no signal, just white noise on the screen, and record it. And then what you do is when you play it back, you go through it frame by frame, and every frame is an image in itself. And what he did was he captured, on a single frame, he captured a photograph of his daughter that was clearly her. And this is many hours of recording, and many people have caught landscapes, strange looking landscapes as well, scenes. They do it with ITC. You can do it with fire. You can do describing with water. So there's many different ways to sort of capture this phenomenon. But with EVP and with audio, I think you're in the most rawest form, because all you've got is sound, and it's up to you to interpret where that comes from. Now, obviously, this person that captured this, he's doing it all the time, and he's capturing many recordings, and it's kind of like, I think that like anything, you become maybe a conduit to it. You can you don't generate it, but you help produce it. But once again, I would say we're surrounded by strangeness, and we're surrounded by the kind of stuff that we're going to get, that you capture it, and you don't know where it's come from, really.
Well, one of the things that we always mention when it comes to EVP is that you'll pick up these voices on audio cassette, and it's clearly a voice. It's clearly a human voice. You can tell whether it's young or old. You can tell whether it's male or whether it's female, and you can tell that it's human, but you can't always tell what they're saying.
And that kind of leads us into our next clip, which is of a deceased father, and the gentleman in question was recorded maybe the same month that he passed away. He was in his 90s. He was quite old, but he was with his daughter and his daughter and her daughter, and he was filmed and he was talking. You could clearly hear his voice in the same month that he was going to die, and he passed away that month. And then I think it was the daughter that received a phone call from it was a voice message, and when she played it back, it was clearly her father. She said it was my father, grandfather, because she was the daughter of the mother, who was the daughter of the father, and she said, well, it's that's clearly my grandfather. And the strange thing is that this phenomenon itself is kind of a topic all of itself, because it's basically phone calls from the dead. There's books written on it, there's documentaries on it, where individuals get phone calls from members of their family who have passed away, maybe a few months or a few years, and then they'll get a voice message or they'll get a phone call, and it'll be clearly like it's them on the other side of the phone. But when they looked at the call logs, the number it was from was all zeros, so there was no ID on the call.
Now, the clip we're about to play, is the one that's labeled "This is Dad"? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna play that in a second. But we have a longtime listener, George McKinley. He just messaged, "Can I ask Reeves if there has ever been any EVP captured on digital sources?" So the answer is yes, obviously. Yeah, but go ahead and elaborate, Reeves.
Digital in the sense of, I've captured EVPs on digital audio tape on DAT. I've also captured EVPs, although very low grade, on digital recorders. But yes, there has been. Most people these days will use all of these digital recorders that you see people carrying. They're all digital recorders. They're all small dictaphones or stuff like that. So they do. It does get.
You can use something like this.
Yeah.
Like this is a little Sony digital dictaphone. Get it? But you can use this, and it's got a little built-in little microphone right there that you can use.
Yeah.
And you can also attach an external microphone. And the quality on this it's actually not that bad. I mean, it's not broadcast quality, but for what it is, it works pretty well. So something like this would be perfect for experimenting with EVPs. Something you should keep in mind, though, when you start experimenting with EVPs, and Reeves and I have talked about this many times also, especially if you start doing EVP sessions at home, be prepared. Because you might get something recorded that you might not want to hear. And if you're going to, especially at home, if you're at home and you start doing EVPs and you get a voice talking to you, that might not be the most pleasant of experiences. So bear that in mind. If you're not willing to experience something like that, you might not want to try EVPs. And also, when you try them, don't expect results immediately. It might take weeks or even months before you get anything. It's not one of those things that happens, whenever.
Yeah. When I first started experimenting with EVP, it was a considerable amount of time before I started to get what I class as some kind of response, and whether that response was real or me just wanting it to be real was, it's completely subjective. But when I did actually get a response, when I was with a friend of mine who actually heard the same thing, and we agreed that what he heard was what I heard, and vice versa. Personally, that was quite scary because it brings in a whole host of different aspects to the phenomenon, and you become personally invested in it then, because not because you think, oh, it's the ghost of grandma or whatever, but because you want to know. Well, for me anyway, I want to know, well, what generated that? Is that my brain tricking me? Somebody else heard the same thing and I didn't tell them what it was. They told me what it was after hearing it. So it has to be something. Is it a random radio broadcast? Is it me? Did I do that in some form of telepathy, or did I imprint what I wanted on the recording? So yeah, it can be scary. And when I first got a response, I was a little bit shook up. But I suppose in time you learn to respect it. It's like anything. The more you put into it, the more reasonable success you get out of it. But most people, they'll give it a go and they'll treat it don't treat things like that as a joke. Give it a little bit of respect. I mean, you can be someone that goes, it's a load of old rubbish, it's a load of old chuff, it's not going to work. Then it most probably won't work for you, because it's all about the right mindset.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You have to go into it seriously. and really try, and don't expect anything immediately. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe someone out there will try it, and boom, immediately you'll get something great. It's totally possible. It's unlikely, but it's possible. Sometimes it takes a long time. And just to kind of follow up what Reeves was saying, even if you do get EVPs, you're more than likely going to get something that you're not going to understand what they're saying. You're going to be guessing. You're going to hear that it's a human voice. You're going to hear that it's male, female. You're going to hear that it's a child or someone older, but you might not be able to ascertain what they're saying. If you're very lucky, you'll get a Class A, and a Class A EVP is when it's as clear as somebody standing next to you, and you understand 100% what they're saying. But those things are rare, but they absolutely do happen. All right, then, Reeves, let's take a look at this one. So this is of the voice of a father. Give us just a real brief rundown before we start playing it.
But 3 months later, the father had passed away. It was about 3 months later. The voicemail was left on the granddaughter's phone. There was no caller ID, and the message you're going to hear is the message that she picked up when she played the voice message back.
All right, here we go. Check this out.
I was trying to contact you. This is Dad.
And he'd been dead for 3 months.
Yeah, that's definitely a Class A, right? But it's a voicemail. It's somebody calling in over the telephone. Let me play it one more time. See if we can listen again.
This is Dad. I was trying to contact you. This is Dad.
I can see how that would be very unnerving, Reeves.
Yeah. Yep.
Very, very unnerving to listen to a voicemail. Your father's been dead for what? This 3 months, you said?
It was about 3 months, yeah.
And you're playing back your voicemail, and the voicemails are date stamped, right? So it wouldn't be like, oh well, he might have called 3.5 months ago, and only now I'm listening to the voicemail. This is something else. Very, very clear. And I'm assuming the daughter confirmed that was his voice, right?
Yeah, there. I should have pulled the clip, but there's actually a clip of the month that he passed away. There's a clip of them together, all chatting, and he's in a care home, and you can clearly hear him talking. And when you listen to the two voices, it's clearly the same person.
Same person. Let's just play it one more time, because this is a real good one. Very clear, very concise. And the fact that he's been dead for 3 months, pretty disturbing. Let's listen again.
This is Dad. I was trying to contact you. This is Dad.
Yeah, that's a good one. Do you have any other information on this one, Reeves?
No other information, but I do want to add something to it. When it comes to the phone call phenomenon, George says the telecom companies know the number that was called. There was no caller ID, George. It was all zeros. There was no caller ID at all. So they can't find out the location of the number. So unfortunately,
they checked on it. They contacted the phone company and did a trace and everything.
The only answer the phone company gave them was because they're held. It could have been occasionally. Numbers on voice messages are held in a cache, and the cache sometimes they don't all get deleted, and by accident a voice message can be sent out again,
right,
at a later date. But they did actually ask all the family members that the grandfather had contact with, and no one remembers when they listen to the voice message. No one recalls having that voice message sent to them any time in the recent. In recent time. So if you listen to his voice, he sounds quite aged.
He does.
But the thing is,
he does sound. It sounded like an old man that was calling in.
Yeah,
he had that crackle in his voice, like yeah.
Here's the thing. Now I just want to add to that, but when we listen to not so much electronic voice phenomenon. Well, yes. kind of, but not as much. But when you listen to messages from phones and answer machines, when you listen to the voice, I wouldn't say it was mechanical, but it's to find a good description of a voice that it sounds projected. It sounds as if someone is using a lot of intent to give the message. But it's
like
not
forced.
like when we chat. Yeah, it's so much forced. But put it this way, okay? Let me just go off of topic. Stay on topic.
Yeah,
Go on a bit of a curve.
Okay.
Put it this way. Say that when we pass away, we go into some form of consciousness, and we're just some sort of, we're a thought bubble. We're just a personality floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
If I want to imprint, just a good word, to imprint on something, and a digital device, something that's got an audio chip in it that I can imprint onto it. I'm not going to be able to speak because I've got no vocal cords. I can't articulate in that way. But what I could do is, if I am a consciousness or a person, maybe if I'm able to, I can imprint what I want to say onto a device for whoever to play back. And that's why these devices, when people play them back, that the voices sound almost projected or mildly mechanical. I mean, that's just a thought. It's just a wild thought, but we're here to speculate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, speculation is the name of the game because we don't have the answers, right? We don't know,
No.
right? We have no idea what's going on here. Okay, we have no. Well, this is that. This is this. This is the explanation.
Yeah.
We don't know. All we can do is speculate. And I think that anyone who does come along and says, "Yes, I have all the answers. This is what's going on," I think they're either a liar or a fool.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. You've got to be, especially with the audio phenomenon, you've got to be on the fence. You've got to be kind of like, well, it could be true, or it could be somebody could be just faking it or making it up. And as I say, YouTube is awash with alleged EVPs and alleged audio phenomenon. I think a lot of it is just simply produced for ad revenue, and the good stuff gets buried. I think that it's just a sad fact, really.
We only get the good stuff from Shrouded Hand here.
No, I got to say, it's a great channel. You should go and visit. Go subscribe. It's a great channel.
Shrouded Hand here.
It's a great channel.
Whenever I'm in front of a microphone, I always have to go, Shrouded Hand here.
If I can recommend one of his videos, I think that you should watch his Woods Explore, where he goes out in a tent in the middle of the night in the woods. That
was a really good one. That was a good one. I did enjoy that one. Yeah.
Takes a lot of bottle to do that, I think. Just wander off into the middle of the woods and pitch a tent. I know we haven't got grizzly bears or anything over here, but still.
Well, yeah, you take over here you're dealing with the animal
mountain
factor,
cats.
right? You got mountain lions, coyotes, bears, rattlesnakes. You got all those things trying to kill you. In the UK, you just have like either maniacs with axes or ghosts, spirits, that kind of stuff. All right then, Reeves. Let's dive head first into the next ultra terrifying clip.
This is no. I just want to say that I don't think anybody does, but most probably maybe I want to put it out there in the chat room. People that go into caving, it's quite a big thing over here. People go caving, into exploring old mines, mine shafts, all that kind of stuff. This next clip it's an individual who goes into a tunnel, disused mine stroke tunnel, and he's exploring. I suppose, and that's over your neck of the woods, and he captures something very, very bizarre in this tunnel that's in the middle of nowhere in the side of a mountain.
Yeah, Christopher Mullen just said Shrouded Hand is an awesome channel. It is a good channel. All right, let's what's the name of the clip, Reeves? Let me pull it up here. What's it called?
It's the mine clip. It's the
creepy mine. Is that the one?
Yeah, The creepy mind clip, yeah.
All right, creepy mind. Give me a second. Let me pull that up. Let's see. Creepy mind. So just how creepy is this mind, Reeves? I have a feeling it's going to be very creepy.
I put it this way. If I was the guy, I'd be doing exactly the same as what he does.
What does he do?
We'll find out when we listen.
Okay, all right. Let's check it out. Let me pull that up real quick. All right, here we go. Here it comes. I'm playing. Wait. Has everyone got their headphones on? You over there, put them on. That's enough. What the hell's wrong with you? Put the headphones on. You'll appreciate it. Listen to me. Will I lie to you?
There was a sudden blast of cold air.
Okay, here it comes.
And I'm not going to climb up these ladders and check all that out. It's too wet, too rusted. And okay, here's a final parting shot of the end of the Horton Tunnel. And there's the ore pass with all the cascading water. And what the fuck is that? I don't know what that was, but there was a sudden blast of cold air, and I'm getting out of here.
That sounded at the end there, Reeves. When you hear the voice and the echo, it sounded like a siren or something.
Yeah.
Like a siren going off.
Maybe a siren going off, a sudden blast of cold air. Maybe a siren going off to an underground base.
Ah, yeah. You never know.
Maybe we should get Matt on there.
Yeah,
Let's send him out there.
We should get Matthew Williams. Matthew Williams from A Secret Vault. You should come on and tell us all about that. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. There might have been like some kind of underground facility that he was unaware of. But yeah, that's,
have you heard of the
Have
you heard of the documented events that have happened around Yellowstone since the 1890s? The sound phenomenon near the coasts. So this couple was out and they were recording.
Mm-hmm.
They captured this sound phenomenon, which has been around it's been documented since the 1890s, and it normally happens in and around the coastal areas. People describe that they hear this sound that kind of emanates upwards, and as it gets louder, it comes closer, as if it's going over your head, and then it dissipates. Now, geologists and the like have said that it's something to do with the makeup of the rocks and the tectonic, the plates and stuff, the way that it moves around, and that it can generate this sound, and over certain periods of time, it releases this sound. But it's certainly, I had to add it because it's certainly a scary sound. If I heard this and I was out there in the middle of nowhere, I wouldn't know what to think. I would be completely I don't know. I didn't know which way to run. I don't think.
Okay, which
the Yellowstone clip.
The Yellowstone clip. All right, let me pull that one up 1 second. Here it is. Now I have to be very careful what I click here because I don't want music to play again. So I think this should be the right one. I just turned on another fan. Can you? Is it bleeding into the sound?
No,
is it okay? You're all good? I
Yeah,
should
it's
say
fine.
that here in Southern California, it's almost 1 p.m. and it's like living on the sun back here. It's very hot. And we did try to do this. We wanted to do a Paratalk special, and we wanted it to be kind of spooky.
Spooky.
So Reeves is all in his darkness, and I covered up all the windows and everything, and I'm still. I could not make it dark. So unless we do this at 3 a.m. your time, Reeves, it's not gonna work. Anyway, let's talk. Let's do the Yellowstone clip here. Let me key this up. Give me 1 second here. There we go. All right, here we go. The Yellowstone clip. So have a listen to this. I have to make of that.
So that sound phenomenon that's been documented to happen in that region. Many people have experienced it. It seems to come up from the ground and travel emanate upwards, and then as it gets above the person or the people, the sound gets so high that it gives the feeling that it's above you. Then it dissipates. So
at first I thought it was like a scream or something. But then it kind of fed back on itself. Went up, and went up.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah. Now,
should we play? Let's play it one more time, and then
and
then we can talk about it a little more. So listen to this. Yeah, that's very disturbing.
So it very. I mean, you as I say, if you have, areas where there's earth pressure, wind. I mean, you can go into a stormy area and listen to the wind howling, and you can hear all sorts of things. I do think that this isn't a paranormal phenomenon. I think this is an earth phenomenon. But then again, I think that with earth phenomenon like this, you could say that it is not your standard phenomenon. It could be in the sense of atmospheric phenomenon that we're not completely 100%, because people have got theories about it and what it could be, but no one's saying for definite, well, it's definitely this or it's definitely caused by that. But it's definitely scary, and the kind of thing that if you were out one night or one evening and you're just going for a walk and hearing that, it's definitely going to scare you. Imagine what people thought it was back in the 1800s. It's just very scary.
Yeah, it is. It's not a pleasant sound, and also when a lot of things which add to these sounds. If you place yourself in the shoes of the person that recorded this, if you're in a wooded area, if you're in the forest somewhere and alone, and you were to hear something like that, that would be truly, truly terrifying.
Well, it takes us on to another account of an individual that captured some, I won't say EVP, but it's sound phenomenon from an unknown. You could say, no one knows what it is because no one went to investigate. But this was back in December 16, 2017. This was uploaded to YouTube, and the individual, he lives on the back end of a large wooded area, and he's just chilling. And he hears this sound, and all his family hear this sound, and it's a screaming from the woods. But when you listen to it, there's something very, very spooky about it. Just very odd and just very creepy. And you remember that he's not living directly by the woods; it's some distance away. So whatever this is, it's very, very loud.
Mm-hmm. So Christopher Moreland just said that I think this has been debunked, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's referring to the one that we just played.
It might be It might be
or the one we're about to play. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe Christopher can type something. Debunked.
The clip name, and then we can.
Yes, Chris, if you could put the clip name when it was recorded and send us photographs from every angle and send that to us, just so we could see if it truly was debunked. We'd really appreciate that. Yep. Thank you so much, Chris. I'm not sure which one he was talking about, but this one is Screams from the Woods.
Yes.
And even the title, Screams from the Woods, is disturbing.
Yeah.
If you're alone in the woods and you hear screaming, and you're looking around, and there's okay, he's riffing on what Richard said. Richard was talking about Richard posted, what about the hole they made and the sounds of hell came out of it. And then Christopher was saying that was debunked. Yeah.
From the sound from the film, wasn't it, or something they used?
Yeah, that was a silly one. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's get over to. Here we go, and this is the Screams in the Woods. Here we go. Get ready.
What that is? Scary shit. What the f? Everyone else is hearing it too.
So, I mean, luckily for them, Reeves, that was, or at least it sounded like, it was way in the distance.
Yes.
and nowhere near, which is always, whenever you hear something like that in the woods, the way in the distance, that's a nice feature to have.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think that when we have those anomalous sounds where we have hunters that capture yelps and screams and stuff in the woods, and you always think that that especially where you are, your neck of the woods, your forests and that are so vast.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't got very much. I think only 16% of the UK has now got woodland because most of it's been sold off and developed for housing and stuff. So we've got some wooded areas, but nowhere near the vastness of America or Canada or those kind of, or even Russia. And you just don't know what's in them and what's lurking around out there because we've only. Yes, Richard says it could be a werewolf. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a werewolf. It was snowing, but still. It's a scary noise. It's scary shrieking like that. It conjures up all sorts of things.
It could be werewolf in London. Yeah, there you go.
But that takes us on to our next.
Let's play this clip one more time. I just increased the volume a little bit so people can hear the screaming a little more. So here we go. Let's try it again. Have a listen.
What that is? I don't know. Scary shit. What the f? Everyone else is hearing it too.
Yeah. So Multi-Love just said, "I would run." Yeah, I don't blame.
Yeah.
him.
Oh yes. No.
It sounds like an animal to me, Reeves. Some kind of the way it's screaming like that. Some kind of animal sound or something.
Yes, but maybe it is a werewolf.
A werewolf.
Possibly. I'm going with what Richard said. I'm going for the werewolf.
Yeah. Let's just agree with Richard.
But I just want to. It segues quite nicely onto the next clip, which is. It's not really noise. It's not really a phenomenon. Well, it is a phenomenon in itself, but it's actually a phone call, and it's a phone call to the police department. I think you've heard this before, regarding a very large person in the man's driveway.
Ah, okay. What's this one called? Reeves?
This is the Bigfoot call.
The Bigfoot call. All right, now this.
Oh yes.
I'm trying to think if this is the classic one that has been played, or is this something different?
But it's the best one. It's a great one.
A
great one.
Okay, let's have a look at this one then. Oh, I'm still trying to get the buttons working. Here we go. All right, here we go. This is allegedly a Bigfoot screaming. Now, if I remember this, the first time
no screaming.
No screaming.
No screaming.
Then this is not the one I'm thinking of. Okay, then
possibly not. Then.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Well, here we go.
911. What are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on, and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man, or something. It looks like a man. I don't know what it was. Just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it. But whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now, and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sure.
See ya!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Oh, and the guy is on foot.
I don't know what... It's a big, real big person. That's all I can say.
Okay, but it is a person.
Yeah, I'd say it was a person, somebody really big. But he's all in black.
Is he a black male or a white male? Did you actually see whether, or was he just wearing black?
He's all black, and he's big. He is big.
Wow. Well, I mean, I don't know about you or the listeners, but to me that sounded real.
Yes, very real.
You
can tell by the inflection in the caller's voice that he is actually shocked. He can't believe what he's seeing.
Right.
And when the police department ask him if it's a man, he doesn't want to say it's a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
He wants to say just a big man, but I don't believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah, you could tell that he was he wanted to say this is not a person, but he was reluctant. He was reluctant to go down that path.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a good one, Reeves.
Yeah.
So what?
That's up there. That's up there with the Area 51 phone call.
Yes.
Definitely up there.
I know. What the hell could he have possibly be? Because when you to be on the phone with the police, and you're witnessing this thing like live as it's happening.
Yep.
I mean, that adds a level of authenticity to it, and you could hear it in his voice when he sees it. And he's like, "Oh my God!" It's
If we replay the clip now, everybody's front loaded,
right,
and listen to the guy and listen to how shocked he sounds when he sees.
All right.
Listen to his voice.
All right, we're gonna play it again. So let's dive into this again. Here we go.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on, and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man, or something. It looks like a man. I don't know what it was. Just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it. But whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now, and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sure.
See ya!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That was the point right there.
Yeah.
Let me play that part again, because that was right at the point where, because he's calling the cops and he's saying, yeah, you know, I just saw something out there. He was, and then Jesus Christ, and then there it is, right in front of him.
Yeah.
You know, you can hear it in his voice. He freaks out. So let's play that part again where he starts to. You can hear the excitement and, well, maybe not excitement, maybe fear.
Fear.
It's fear when he sees that. So let's hear it again.
Right. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sure.
See ya!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Oh, and the guy is on foot.
I don't know what... It's a big, real big person. That's all.
He almost said it.
Yeah,
he almost said it right there. He came very close.
Almost.
But there's another good part in here I was just laughing at where he says, it's looking right at me. And the chick on the phone is like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
uh-oh, oh, sorry. You know, she's like all, uh-oh.
See him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. I'm looking right at him. Uh-oh.
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Scoob.
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
You know, she's not really taking it seriously. She's probably thinking, oh, my coffee break is coming up. I got to get this maniac off the phone so I can go and eat a donut. Do you know what I mean? But,
yeah, I get that feeling. He's just doing, going through the motions.
Yeah, but man, can you imagine? I mean, that guy he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
I did not get the BS vibe from him.
When he first saw the individual, he called his dog. You could hear him calling his dog.
Yeah, and he said one of his dogs was killed recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I'm gonna have to pull the sound clip for her going, uh-oh. I think that'd be a good little bumper thing or something. Something like that. But there you go. Great one, Reeves. Very good. Very good. Multi-Love in the chat room said, I'd close the curtains and hide.
Yep. Good move.
That's a very good move. Very good move. Good thinking, Multi-Love. Yeah. You see, Reeves, this is the kind of caliber of people that watch us. They're geniuses.
Yes.
Genius. This is the caliber. You know, the people that tune
up there
in.
Up there with Jacques Vallée.
Jacques Vallée, yes. The phenomena. If it is a phenomena, I do not know whether it is extraterrestrial, but it very well may be. You like my Jacques Vallée impersonation? It's pretty good.
I actually thought it was
you thought that was him. Yeah.
I thought it was him.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Me too. We got Jacques Vallée and Shrouded Hand here.
Shrouded Hand. Yeah.
We got the two of them. All right, let's move on to our next great clip here.
We're going to. I think we've gone through all the little clips.
Oh, now I know what's coming.
Now is the meat and potatoes.
This is the pièce de résistance.
This is the. Now I'm going to open people's eyes.
Yeah.
And we're going to go down a rabbit hole.
We are.
We're going to step back in time to the 80s.
There you go, Reeves. This is now. Before we get long-time listeners to Paratalk and the Mindset Podcast, you should be very well aware that Reeves, the ultimate decade for Reeves, in the vastness of human history, the ultimate decade for Reeves is, of course, the 1980s. Am I wrong, Reeves?
Oh, you're not wrong. You're right.
Yeah, the 80s. The 80s are the number one 10-year period for Reeves.
And maybe the last part since about 75 up till about 79 as well was pretty good.
Yeah,
there's some good stuff there as well. I mean, if you didn't have that era, you wouldn't have your Starsky and Hutch and Man from Atlantis and all that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and of course we can't forget the excellent but short-lived run of Logan's Run.
Logan's Run, amazing.
There you go.
Invisible Man.
David McCallum, right?
McCallum,
David
Invisible
McCallum.
Man.
The Invisible Man. I used to love that show. I used to think that I was invisible. I would go like this and pretend to pull my mask off when I was a kid. It was amazing. That's the kind of mental case I am. Anyway, here we go. Now this is our final selection of clips, I believe, right?
Yeah, but it's all on the same topic.
But there's several clips we're going to go through because this is a pretty intense investigation.
Yes, it is.
So
we do need.
What we'll do is we'll go through each clip and we'll comment and we'll listen and so on. And then when we get the clips out of the way, we'll open it up to the chat room and see what questions they might have, and we'll delve in a little deeper from there. So which one do you want to start with, Reeves?
Well, firstly, I just want to give you a bit of a backstory on all of these. Otherwise, if we play them, it's going to be a load of old gobbledygook, and people are not, because we're hearing sounds. Yeah. We're not necessarily hearing. It's not a gorilla sound or anything. It's sounds. We're listening to. We're getting into the real noise phenomenon, sound phenomenon here. EVP, whatever you want to call it. It's known as the Talking Walls experiment, and this went on in Wales.
I got it. Steve said it sounded like Inspector Clouseau, not Jacques Vallée. Come on, Steve.
just
Come on.
Just
Throw me
I'm
your
not getting involved.
throw me your freaking bone here, Steve. That was that was Jacques Vallée. It was like he was here. Be honest. Come on, enough. Inspector Clouseau, my God. It's unbelievable. All right, I'm sorry, Reeves. Before
Right.
Steve rudely interrupted your train of thought, saying
That's
that
quite all right.
my Jacques Vallée impersonation was more like Inspector Clouseau. But we'll be that as it may, for the untrained ear, let's go back to Reeves.
So the Talking Walls experiment occurred in 1982, and it was conducted by two individuals, John Mark and Alan Jenkins. John Mark was an electrical engineer, and Alan Jenkins was an industrial chemist. This took place in a pub, the Prince of Wales pub in Kenfig in Wales. The reason that this took place was because the original landlord, who at the time when they were visiting the pub and it was kind of their drinking place, used to complain of hearing noises in an adjacent hall which goes back to the 15th century, which is part of the building, but it's more for functions and stuff. So you had the pub, and then next to it you had a hall. This is in a kind of a small village area. A lot of the original village was buried way back hundreds of years ago. There was in the sands and stuff. They had basically weathering, and it was washed away and it was covered. So there's only a small part of the village that remains, the older buildings, and what you call the hall, which was originally in the old days the town hall. Well, it was many things actually. It was a town hall. It was it was also used as a morgue. It was used as a court back in the days, and lots of people were taken from that court and hung on the gallows 2 miles away. There was a point where they used to hang people. So there was a lot of trauma in this building. And they were joking that, you've got a haunted hall. It's haunted by something. And of course, John and Alan, they wanted to, as a joke, they took on the challenge to say, "We'll find your ghosts. We'll find out. Let's find out if we can find any history on this place." But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the building as itself, because obviously back in those days, a lot of the building were built with sandstone. And original builds, they were very sturdy old buildings. And if we look at those buildings, chemically they contain similar chemicals to what you find in audio tape, ferric and silica. The ferric oxide is a similar chemicals to what we find in tape. So the way they looked at it is that maybe if we could charge this building with enough energy that we could release something that's possibly been recorded in the building, and to come out, and we'll capture it on audio tape. Now, the way that they did
is now this.
Sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this was the based on the stone tape theory, right?
Yeah, it was based on the stone tape theory.
Where the environment would somehow record the
building,
emotionally charged experiences.
It would basically act as the building itself, the chemical makeup of the building would act as basically a very rudimentary microphone.
Right.
And that over time, if there was, if you could imagine someone being put to death, say they said you nicked a loaf of bread and you didn't, you're going to be taken to the gallows and hung. Imagine the energy that is expelled from your anguish and anger, and it's into the building, into the atmosphere, whatever way you want to look at it, So that's the way on tape theory. What they did was they put electrodes in the walls of the building, and they put recorders in and around the building, inside, not outside, inside the building. They locked these recorders in there, and then they put. This was done over a period of time, 4 hours at a time. And they only got a few minutes of what you could call audio clips. Now, the clips that you're going to hear are the building being charged with 20,000 volts of electricity. And then after that, you're going to hear what we believe is some sort of audio bleed that comes out of the building, the stone, and it's captured onto the tape machines that they've got in the building.
We should add that there's while these recordings are being made, that there's nobody in the building. The building is completely empty.
Completely empty, and it was done in the middle of the night.
Right.
They did it at night for the quietness, so that it was as little noise as possible.
Okay.
So we can run.
This is clip number 1, Reeves.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. This is this.
Be aware that what you're going to hear is you have to. You're not going to hear people. You're not going to hear like this is grandma or whatever. You're going to hear sounds which allegedly are being emanated and charged out of a building. And captured on audio tape, so you have to sort of give it a listen, because you're listening. And also another thing, once we've listened to these clips, I have a theory of what we're hearing.
Okay.
Here.
Now, and we should also add that of all the EVPs that we've talked about and played this evening, this one is purely scientifically based. These were
scientific as possible.
Real scientists, real techniques, doing a real experiment to see if they could get any results. This is not some guy with a tape recorder standing in a graveyard. This is like legit.
Securely as possible, yes.
All right, here we go. Here's the first clip. Here's clip number 1. That was the charge.
Yep.
Well, there's some good ones in there. Now, that was a long clip. At the beginning, you hear them charging the walls, and then the reverberation of everything. But now here's what I heard, and you tell me if we're on the right track here, Reeves.
Okay.
So I heard a piano.
Yep.
I heard some chains.
Yep.
And I heard like a door closing.
A large wooden door closing.
Yeah. So I heard three things: a piano, some chains, and a door closing. And it'd be interesting to see if the viewers out there heard the same thing or very similar. But is that about it, or was there more in there that I might have missed?
No. There are other. When we listen, sorry, Roger's asking a question. What is it? It's 4003. The Rickenbacker 4003 base. So I just saw it there. I used to have a 4001, but now I've got 4003.
007.
Yeah. So So what? I'm. Maybe this is. I don't find this. This is what intrigues me about these clips is that. Are we unlocking, or are they unlocking, layers of sound from a bygone era, from hundreds of years ago?
Yeah.
Because that clip, obviously you hear the initial charge, and it's a slightly longer clip. There are clips that aren't that long.
Yeah.
And then you hear, there's no. Remember, the recorders are in a hall. Okay, if you go and look up Prince of Wales pub, Kengfeg, Wales. You will see the hall. There is just a large, old style hall. There's nothing in it. There's just recorders. There were
the place is
recorders
empty.
in there,
No people. No nothing.
Empty.
Yeah.
No doors being closed. The doors were locked when they took the experiments.
Uh-huh.
So if we go on to the next clip and we'll hear some other interesting phenomenon.
Let me get that one ready.
Captured.
This is going to be number 2, right?
Yeah.
Let me pull that up real quick. There we go. Okay, number 2. Now this one is this one is fairly long. This is a little over 2 minutes in length rather. Should I skip a little bit on this or?
Let's go in. Maybe go in sort of just under maybe halfway on that one.
All right, about here, about middle. Does that look good?
Yeah, let's try it from there because we're going to capture.
All right.
All
right, because there's going to be a lot of the reverberation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so let's try this one. Here we go. It's about halfway through. I heard all kinds of stuff there. There was banging and
walking,
all kinds of. I mean, you still hear the feedback.
Yeah, you will, yeah.
But there's layers to it. You can hear different layers of things happening, which is amazing because the place is empty. There's nobody there.
Yeah. And as we work through our clips, you'll notice that there's also what sounds like. Somebody said that it sounds like a broadcast from World War II or a church or like a newsreel. There's also, we'll come to another part where it sounds like there's some sort of something going on in the hall. There's many people in there.
Yeah, it sounded like there was under construction. Like there was workers there, like builders. They were building things and hammering and stuff. That's what it sounded like.
It sounded like it, but it also sounded like maybe a form of gate that was winched up on a winch. And it also sounds like one of those the big keys.
How old is this place, Reeves? How old is this place?
15th century.
Okay, so several hundred years old.
Yes.
So there's a lot of emotion and things that are being recorded into this building by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to clip number 3. Now this is another one from the talking wall phenomena of this pub. Can you tell us anything about this clip before I play it? Is it more of the same, or is there more detail to it?
Yeah, there'll be other details. Everyone is slightly different.
Okay. So I'm assuming this first part right here is going to be the charging of the wall.
How long is the clip?
This clip is 1 minute and 10 seconds, so it's a little shorter.
I think I've cut the charging off of that one.
Okay, all right. So here we go. Check this one out. That sounds like a musical instrument right off the bat.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Sounds like an organ or something playing.
It's strange because there used to be an organ in there.
Yeah. Let's listen to that again. So obviously there was definitely a musical element there. It sounded like there was some kind of organ or some kind of musical instrument that was being played.
Yeah.
And I could also hear people talking, and it sounded like a baby crying also.
It yelps, but did you also hear the person walking, and you heard the chains again underneath? It was almost as if with this phenomenon they're generating is depending on the amount of power and the duration of the power, the charge of the building. Yeah, different eras, different layers of sound are coming out.
Yeah, different layers. Yeah, that's the impression I got also.
Different layers of sound are coming out.
Shall we keep going with these, or we're going to get more of the same? There's another good one.
No, it gets better. Trust me, it gets better.
Is that possible? Can it really get better? Okay, all right. Let's go to number 4. Let me pull that one up. Just give me a second. Let's see, number 4. We got a bunch of people appearing in the chat room, by the way. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. I saw a quick post from James Hennessy. Big shout out to James. He said the sounds, and this is kind of interesting. He said these sounds. Let me see if I can find it. I'll put it back up on the screen. Where was it? Here we go. He said the sound effects, they sound like the effects from Forbidden Planet. Remember that old movie in the 50s? Yeah. And it does. You do get that kind of vibe, the Forbidden Planet kind of vibe. Yeah. So, yeah, very good. All right, here we go. So this is the next one. Anything we want to lead into this, Reeves? So I hit play.
There's no leading because they're all follow the same line, but they're all slightly different, and you have to hear all of them to get the
full picture
idea of what they captured.
All right, here we go. Okay, check this one out. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I heard someone yawning.
Yep, yawning. Someone's It sounded like someone
Did
was
you see
walking
that?
around.
Let me see if I can find that. I think it was right
At the
here.
beginning.
If you listen, it sounds like someone yawning. Let's listen. Listen again. Right there. There it is. Right there.
Yeah.
Let's play it again. That's definitely someone yawning. I'll do the lead in. Let's try it again. And then it sounded like a bottle opening.
Yeah, bottle opening. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, like
the
one of them
like a
old-fashioned
cork,
bottles
like
with
they're taking
the
the cork out of a bottle. So we
Yeah.
get some. Let's play that again. So somebody yawning and somebody opening the cork on a bottle. That's amazing. That's
And then you hear footsteps.
yeah.
Remember, you're in a build. The
In an
recorders are
empty
in a
building, a completely empty.
The
There is
door-
nobody
the door-
in this building.
The guys are outside charging the building with a giant generator,
Mhm.
and there's and at times the generator and the recorder are on a timer, and no one's there.
Wow. Impressive. All right, let's go to number 5. Let me jump that one up. Give me a second here. There you go, number 5. All right, here we go. Everyone listening, everyone sitting down, put your headphones on. Everyone sitting comfortably. Good. Then we shall begin. Wow, now that is
Hear it?
very impressive. It sounds like it sounds like I'm in a party,
Yeah,
or as they say in Australia, a patty.
yeah. You got to listen into it. You got to listen into it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I got to play that again. That's incredible. You can hear distinct
Yeah.
voices.
There's 3 layers to that.
Yeah.
There's what sounds like a large group of people all having a party or something.
Mhm.
There's also what sounds like a narration going on under that, and there's also mildly you can still hear that organ again.
I didn't catch the organ, but
You can hear it. Just
let me
mildly you can hear it.
let me try it again. Marie says nice Aussie accent. Oh, I know. Sorry. All right, here we go. Yeah, I can hear it. Then it's very, very faint.
Very faint. Yeah, very
but
faint.
yeah, you can hear it in the background. That kind of the organ. Now this was a tavern or a pub, hundreds
it was
of
originally-
years
yeah.
ago, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
recording
Well, it
sounds
was
like this
an inn.
would be normal.
Yes, jolly ups, and
Mhm.
basically the large hall itself. It had many uses. As I say, it was a courthouse. It was originally a town hall as well. It was
Yeah.
used for the original town. It was a town hall.
Uh-huh.
So it had many uses. So you can imagine the amount of people that were there, and also, yeah, it was an inn as well. There was an inn next to it. So, it's had many uses over the years, and whoever. I don't know what we're hearing or how much of it is our own brains making up sounds, but they clearly, when you have multiple sounds like that, the chains
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
the people walking around, and that it kind of validates or gives strength to the whole stone tape theory as a whole, especially with older buildings.
Yeah.
Not so much modern buildings, because modern buildings are made with made with material that is not very conducive to
Right.
it
The old
is-
buildings were made of this like solid rock,
Sandstone.
like these
Yeah,
big
yeah.
slabs of stone. Which allegedly is more conducive to record the atmosphere.
Well, yeah,
right.
it's the chemical makeup of
Mm-hmm.
the stone themselves. I think that I live in a very old building, and I think that these buildings, the stone walls, they have the ability to maybe anything emotional or anything like that could capture something like that. And I think when you go back to the days where there was a lot of we say a lot of death, but people didn't live very long back then, and people would lose their lives over very trivial things. And as I say, if it was a courthouse and sending all those people to, because back then obviously you didn't go to jail for 30 days. It was like take him away and hang him. It was.
Yeah, there was no playing around in those days.
No.
They'd cut your throat as much as look at you.
Unfortunately, I've always wanted to get in touch with these guys, but I don't think they're around anymore because it was a long time ago, and they were past middle age.
So this experiment, Reeves, was done when? Like in
it was done in
mid 1980s or something?
Early. It was done in 1982. It took place.
82.
Because originally the original landlord that run the Prince of Wales, he complained that he could hear at night. He could hear the organ playing, an organ playing in the hall, and also he could hear people talking and partying. And he would go in there a number of times to think, has someone broken into the hall? Are they having a knees up? And the hall was in complete silence. So John and Alan, who were locals to the pub, they took upon themselves, because they're scientifically minded. They said, well, as a bit of a joke, they said, we'll find you ghosts, and they came up with this idea to charge the building to see if they could get everything. And they didn't think for 1 minute that they would get anything.
But it would actually
charged
work.
the building over a 4-hour period, and they got 2 minutes of unexplained sounds. And that changed their outlook on what possibly could be going on here with sound phenomena and EVP, and they decided to continue doing it. And over the next few months, I mean, they made like national news come and interviewed them on many different networks, came and interviewed them about this. They
were on nationwide, right?
National news channel. And they have been mentioned in a couple of books, and they've also scientific papers. But the problem is that it was never. They were allegedly they were going to get some proper sponsorship to do a proper full-on lockdown scientific investigation over a long period of time. But unfortunately, the original landlord passed away, and the pub changed hands, and obviously there was difficulties because obviously and unfortunately, I've not been able to track down these guys. I don't know if they're still with us, and there was no real. They never really got together and made a. We're talking the 1980s, but there has been further investigations there.
And the pub still exists, right? The pub is still there.
Oh, it's got rave reviews. It's a very, very nice pub, very top food and everything. And they also rent
next time I come over, Reeves,
we'll go up
there. There might be a road trip involved.
Oh, we'll go up there. We'll stay over there because they do room.
Because
I
don't think they would mind if we showed up and wired up the building and put 60,000 volts through it. Do you?
Get away with it. No worries. It's a stone building. It won't catch fire.
But let's do the final. This is the final clip from this this haunted pub. Anything we should know before I hit the play button on this one, Reeves?
Let's just play it and see what happens.
All right, here we go. Are you ready, listeners, watchers, viewers, people? Here we go. Okay, now to my ear, that was a very good one, because not only could you hear a man speaking somewhat clearly, but he was also, from my ear, speaking Welsh.
Yes, Old Welsh.
Yes, he was speaking
Yeah.
Welsh with a very thick Welsh accent. I couldn't pick out any words or anything, but you could tell he was speaking Welsh.
Old Welsh.
Yeah.
And also you could hear under that, you could hear what sounded like someone pacing or walking up and down.
Uh-huh.
And there was also that jangling of keys or
Yeah.
or chains or something.
So the chain, we heard chains in almost every clip we played today in regard
Yep.
to this haunted
But remember,
location.
but remember that was used as a courthouse, and people would be brought in chained and
Right,
shackled.
right.
You know, are we hearing? Is that part of or So there are ties to its previous, its previous existence as something else.
Right.
So, as I say, I don't know what it could possibly be, but I find these kind of recordings to be very intriguing because it
for
seems
sure.
as if the what they were onto was unlocking. I'm not going to say that it's ghostly or otherworldly, but what I am going to say is that maybe it's possible that the chemical, as we say, the chemical makeup of these stones and these buildings can trap past sounds, events that through emotion or whatever,
Right.
through being very happy, being very emotionally happy, like party time,
Yeah.
to very sad, you're going to go to the gallows sort of thing, anguish and stuff, and it kind of sucks it up and holds it in, and you need to giving it an electrical charge lets it come out. And if you've got a very, as we say, the building is a very rudimentary speaker and a microphone, it's able to release those sounds. And it, unfortunately, it's like a radio station. It's imagine having all the radio stations on at once, and each one gets a little bit of different power, where you're getting different eras, different timelines, or whatever you want to call it, recording it all at once.
No, truly fascinating. That was a great selection of clips, Reeves, for sure. And I think there's video of this too. If viewers want to Google the Kenfick pub, the
Kenfick pub. There is I think it was Points West. They actually went there. BBC. They went there and did they brought a sound engineer with them, and he wired up a recorder in there and left it overnight. And they did actually pick up sound phenomenon. They picked up what sounds like somebody with a wooden stick tapping it on the wooden floor, and there was no one in the building.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. No real explanations, but some very, very, very real phenomena there. Let's. That was our last clip, unfortunately, guys. I know we could play clips all night, or till the cows come home, but unfortunately we don't. But we'll have to do this again. So as we start winding down here, we want to open it up to you guys if you have any questions or comments on some of the clips that you've already heard, or on Paratalk or Mindset in general, and we can go ahead and answer some of those.
I noticed Maria said in the chat that she gets some very clear EVPs, but they never say anything profound. Maybe it's hard with no lungs or voice box. The thing is, Marie, with EVP, there's a couple of there's a couple of things that you want to keep in mind when you're doing it. When you come to do EVP, or when you come to do any form of something like that, you want to come to it with a positive attitude. Don't think you're going to fail, okay? Don't think for 1 minute, oh, this isn't going to work, because you're setting off on a negative.
Yeah.
Try and be positive and think, I'm going to get something great. But also, be prepared for the long run. And when you do your recordings, try and do it away from other people, so it's just you and your recorder.
Right.
Try not to touch. Well, you can do it one of two ways. You can do it not touching your recorder or holding your recorder. Some people say that by holding your recorder or holding your recording device, you're acting as a conduit, so that whatever it is can manifest through you and imprint onto the audio chip in the recorder. Other people say, don't hold your recorder, because you're going to act as a block. So try it either way. But also, remember to be in it for the long run. And also, when you listen back to your recordings, don't just listen once and then delete it and go, I didn't hear anything. Leave it and come back to it. Maybe a few days later.
That's a good point. And yeah, you have to listen multiple times. I showed this earlier, but just so people can get an idea of what kind of recorder you need to capture EVP. You don't need anything elaborate. You don't have to go crazy and spend hundreds of dollars on, a top of the line recorder. I mean, you can if you want to. It's not going to hurt. If you wanted to go buy like a full on recording, you totally can, but you don't need to. You could just pick up something like this. This is just a little digital voice recorder. This will cost you like $30 or $40. It's very cheap. It has decent sound quality. As Reeves was saying, though, you can hold it, of course, and say, is there anybody there or whatever. But ideally, you want to hit the record button and then put it down somewhere. Leave it on a desk or wherever you are. Put it down somebody, and then just let it play back. Let it record for a couple of hours or 30 minutes or whatever the case may be. Asking questions. Ask deliberate questions into the air, into thin air, and then so you'd ask a question like, is anybody here? Can you hear me? And then you'd wait. There'd be silence. You'd wait, a minute or two, and then play it back. And in the dead air, in the space, then you start listening for sounds, voices, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, a lot of EVP will be down on the low end. It'll be it'll be down where the noise is, and I think that if you also what Gareth says about asking questions, try to ask questions where you're going to get a definite answer. So ask what day of the week it is. Ask what color shirt you're wearing. Yeah. Ask what your name is. Yeah. Ask if it's sunny or if it's raining. Point. Because if you're going to get answers to, if you say what day is the week it is and it's a Wednesday and you get a voice back saying it's Wednesday, then you're bringing down the odds of it being some random, it's going to be, some chap across the road in his taxi. You need to sort of be logical about it, where you don't want to have too much to your own interpretation. Obviously, you go into a room and you put your recorder on and go, is anybody there? It's kind of, I don't know. Is anybody, nobody's going to come back and say yes. But also be aware that a lot of what you're going to record is not going to be intelligent. You can't figure it out. It's not going to be intelligent to the sense where you're going to feel like you're having a conversation with someone, or it's going to be random. Just kind of put your, all right. So trying to put your, I don't want to go into the sense that I'm talking ghosts, but let's say you're a discarnate consciousness, and you want to get across to someone that you're still around. And you come along and you've got your recorder and they're aware of you and you're asking questions. The first thing possibly is they're going to say anything just to get their, try and get themselves across to you. Whatever that is, that person or personality or energy is. So you have to kind of think of things logically. And Chris brings up an interesting point. He has a ghost box. And and do they really work? The problem with things like ghost boxes and things and spirit boxes is you've got a broken radio, and it's meant to work on the pretext that it's skipping the channels so quickly that any voice or any word that you would hear would have to be imprinted on the device for it to be heard, because you're skipping the radio channels really quickly, and it's only the words you're going to hear are being only part words. The problem is with these devices is that they're open to misinterpretation, and you can hear something and you can become lazy in your interpretation and the way that you try to listen for possible responses, where you'll hear something you think is a yes, and you'll go, oh, that was a yes, so obviously I'm talking to someone. I would personally, you can do EVP with an analog cassette recorder that you can buy for 20 quid down the shop and a microphone. But remember, if you're going to go down that road, make sure that you use brand new cassettes. Yes, you can still buy cassettes. They are around. And also make sure that when you ask your questions into a device, make sure that you unplug the microphone afterwards. So there's no way that, or if it's got an internal microphone, make sure you try and switch that off. So you want to cut down that anything can be misinterpreted, that someone outside talking or whatever. So, all simple stuff, but just trying to be a little bit logical about it, and be, always having all the latest kit and all the latest gear isn't always the best way. I mean, I joked with Gareth on one of our episodes that, if I could have, if I could go back to the 70s and be a ghost hunter, I think that they were some of the most cleverest people, because they had, their tools were very limited. They have a cassette recorder, a film camera, and a notepad, and they used
some talcum powder.
And some talcum powder.
Yes.
But the best tool of all that they had was their senses. They used their senses. They hear and see, and that's some of the greatest senses you've got, is hearing and seeing. Try not to. I know we can be tricked, and I know that in your dark room and you misinterpret stuff, but always think that you don't need all the best kit to be a great investigator. It's all about how you approach it.
Marie says, what's the best app to play back on? In other words, when you've used your recorder and you extract the file and you want to play it back, probably there's many apps to use. But if you want a good app or a decent app that's free, I would suggest Audacity. So Audacity is an open source piece of software. It's fairly powerful. You can you can manipulate the sound and boost parts and normalize it, and it's free. So just go to Google and do a search for Audacity. You can get that, download it for free. Obviously, if you want to pay money, you can go all the way up to Logic and get, go crazy. But I would suggest Audacity first and foremost. Check that out. Put your clips in there. Start listening, and use that for recording. What else do we get? She also says she doesn't like the Ghost Box. Did you want to add anything to that, Reeves, in regard to the software?
Well, software-wise, as I say, try and keep it simple. You don't need to spend loads of money, and whatever software you do use, try and learn as much about it as possible, so that you get the best out of it. I think something like Audacity, there's lots of options, but you don't need to use all of them. You don't have to use every filter.
Right.
You just have to understand how to amplify a signal and how to read a signal.
Yeah.
So when you upload it, when you upload your clip, you'll get a signal representation of that clip on the screen. And what you're looking for is, you're not looking for all the big peaks. You're looking for the little ones. That's what you want to be looking at, and you want to be listening to those little peaks. Always wear headphones. Try and get a reasonably good pair of headphones, because that makes all of the difference.
Right.
And try and get yourself a good monitor style headphones that haven't got too much bass or too much treble. You want to hear your signal as flat as possible, so that when you do EQ it, you'll know exactly what high end or low end that you're adding. So you don't want a pair of headphones that have got like mega bass in them, because it makes listening for long periods of time very uncomfortable. And like these headphones I wear, they're monitors. So
make sure that they are I know you might be tempted to put in the earbuds that you use that came with your phone or something. Avoid earbuds. If you get a decent to good set of headphones that cover your ears, and then you can actually just focus on the sound. And keep in mind, you're going to be listening to hours of sound, and 99.9% of the time, you're going to get nothing. It's just going to be the background noise, a car going by, a truck going by, an airplane flying over. It's going to be very, very normal. But if you're lucky,
other techniques,
once in a while,
techniques as well, you might want to try when you're doing this is to use a fan. Put a fan nearby, and then put the recorder near it and record the fan sound, and also running water. Put it near running water and use that, and see what you get. Sometimes people do capture what sound like voices, and it gives you an added element to your investigation and to your experiments, to try different ways of trying to generate. Some people say that these voices, they use the sound, the running water, they use the sound of a fan to generate the audio sounds, because obviously you got to think of it as a sense that these aren't, whatever you're contacting possibly isn't going to vocalize something the way that I'm speaking right now. It's rather than it's vocalizing, it's imprinting, so it needs something to imprint upon.
It's using the random noise. I just want to touch on what Marie posted here. Do you actually think that we're hearing ghosts? Sometimes I wonder. Well, no, Marie, we do not know, and anybody who tells you any different is BSing you. EVP is a very real phenomena. Okay, it's not made up, it's not fantasy, it's real and it's testable, and you can do it yourself. But what's actually causing the voices to appear on the recording, we simply do not know. We honestly don't know. Could it be the spirits of the dead? Could it be? We have no idea. We're playing the speculation game, but there's definitely something going on. The phenomena is very real, and if you don't believe it's real, go do it. Go test it yourself.
Try it. I was quite heavily into EVP 10 years ago. It's all I ever did was just record all the time, and I did get results from many months of sitting on a recorder, like Gav said, and not really getting anything. I was lucky. I got 2 Class A EVPs. I wish I still had them, but obviously, you end up with so many cassettes, and it was all on cassette back then. No, nothing digital, and I felt elated that I'd captured something, but then became the question: well, what did I capture? Did I capture somebody who had a life and lived and passed on and was now a ghost floating around in the ether, or did I capture something that was generated from elsewhere? Was it something that was possessing some other plane of existence or whatever? When we ask the question, when Marie says, "Are we actually contacting or hearing ghosts?" I think first we need to establish, what is a ghost? What is a ghost? I mean, what is a haunting? What is an apparition? What are we actually seeing? I think with apparitions...
Do you really want to open that bottle of can of worms, Reeves?
Exactly. It's a massive can of worms.
Exactly.
And I think that it is a massive can of worms. And I think that we first have to establish what a ghost is. And nobody's going to come back... Well, there are people that have come back to said they've seen the other side and stuff. Once again, that is their own personal experience. But there's nothing on videotape that we can watch. Well, there are, but once again, it's down to interpretation. So, yeah, I think that EVPs, take it for what it is. Some people say you shouldn't do EVPs because you're possibly contacting.
It's the work of the devil.
The work of the devil.
The devil.
But once again, it's some people say you shouldn't do it. Some people say do it. I mean, the only way to find out is to do it, but I'm not telling you to do it. So, do you know what I mean? You need to be educate yourself on the subject before you jump in.
I'm telling you to do it.
There you go.
I'm telling you
saying it, so it blames him if your house becomes haunted. Okay.
I'm telling you to go to a graveyard tonight with your recorder.
My question.
And be like, "Hello, who's there?" And go record something.
If I'm a ghost, why would I be in a graveyard?
Because they're dead, Reeves. What's wrong with you?
That's the last place I'd want to be.
Well, I know that's the strangest thing, right? Because people do routinely.
They do
get EVPs
apparitions
in the cemetery, in the grave. Which you think, like, if you die in a car wreck and you're buried a week later.
Yep.
What the hell are you doing in the graveyard?
Hospitals are up there as well.
Exactly.
They're up there as well.
Exactly. Good point. Yeah, but strangely enough, the graveyard or the cemetery is a good place for EVPs for some reason. For some reason, people go there and they get EVPs.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a strange one. Let's see. Any other final questions before we call it a day? And
boards.
What's that?
Ouija boards.
What's that? Marie? Oh yeah, Marie says, and it all goes back to Ouija board stuff. Are we encouraging something? I don't know.
Well, I have a story.
Ooh, okay. Read story.
I don't know how many old school people are out
there. Wait. Is this got to do with the 80s? Be honest.
No.
Okay.
The late 90s.
All right.
I don't know anybody. I think you're familiar with Lou Gentili.
Yeah.
Used to be a host, demonologist, into all that stuff, exorcism.
Yep.
I was quite friendly with him online. I used to do graphic work for him and also support his radio show. And he was I'd say somewhat of a master of EVPs. He would go anywhere and get EVPs. He had a number of recorders that he used, like what Gareth showed you, and he would get from grumbling voices to swear words, to all sorts of stuff. And he would,
wait. You know what's a really messed up EVP to get, dude? Which is terrifying. Can you guess? Reeves? I'll tell you.
Yeah, there's a couple I can think of.
A growl.
Yeah. Actually,
that's scary.
I don't think I included it in the clip. I might have it. Have we got a clip there that says? Let's have a look. See if I included it. I think we went through all the clips, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, we went through all of them. Yeah.
I think we went through all of them. There was one clip that I did. I must have not uploaded it.
If you have it and you want to send it over to me really quick, and we can play it.
A quick look. See if I've.
If not, we can hold it. We can hold it over for Paratalk Live Part 2.
It's quite a scary one
because
we're talking. Well, we're talking about this. I've got it.
Oh,
I've got it right here, and I am going to send
there you go,
it.
Viewers. You're in luck. Send it over, Reeves, so we can.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you on Skype.
People.
It's only a small clip,
right.
but it is I'll tell
send
you,
it over.
It is. Right, there is a story to this,
right.
And what I'll do is I will tell you the story. Let's have a look. Let's open this up a minute.
This will be a great way to end the show. We can leave people because I know where you are. It's nighttime.
Yeah, it is.
So if we have people listening right now in Northern Europe, it's getting dark and it's getting spooky, and this will be a good way to send it off.
This is a clip that I pulled because it's part of a longer. There we go. It's on its way to you. I'll send it now.
All right.
It's part of a. There is some backstory to this. A gentleman converted his garage into what you'd call a sort of a chill out area, and what happened was he started to hear strange noises, and his jukebox and that would come on, and people would say that the lights were on, and he would lock it up and leave it. So he decided to put a night vision camera in there, and this clip's on YouTube for everyone to see because he wanted answers, and there's lots of phenomenon on the video.
Okay.
But he gets the camera he's got notifies him on his phone when there's a disturbance. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets a notification on his phone to say that his camera's been triggered and the voice has been activated. And when he plays it back, he gets this, what you've got there.
All right. Okay. All right. I got it all lined up. Okay. See how fast we work here, guys?
Yeah.
You see this is like lightning. He sends it to me. Boom. It's up. Anyway. Here we go. Get ready. This is the final clip of the night and probably the most terrifying. So if you have headphones on, get ready. Here we go.
That's the clip, the audio clip that was captured in the converted garage, basically next to the microphone of the camera.
Really close to the microphone.
Really close.
Yeah, I'll line it up right here. This is the main part. And let me play it. Here we go. Ready?
Silence.
Then silence. What does that sound like to you? Sounds like maybe like a very quick bark, like bark.
Very. It's you can see the video. He's got the video on YouTube, and he's playing it, and you can see all this light phenomenon that's going on. And I think what we'll do is when the video goes up, we'll have to include the link so people can go and watch the whole thing. But when I watched it through, and that came up because he doesn't give any notification. He just says sound monitor. At 4 in the morning, I think it was.
4 in the morning. Everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Last time. Silence, and then... There we go. Here we go. Listen carefully. Shrouded hand here. Okay, here we go. It does sound kind of evil, too. Like...
It sounds angry. It sounds angry.
Gosh.
And some of the things are that people have noted that his pinball and his arcade machine keep coming on. And people have asked, there could possibly be some form of attachment to those machines because he brought them in from other places.
Other places, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for tuning in, for spending some of your Sunday afternoon / evening / night / Monday morning, wherever you may be located on this weird and wacky and disturbing, but also lots of fun planet of ours.
Yep.
This has been the first of Paratalk Lives. Hopefully we'll do many, many more. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for coming along. Spread the word. If you want to subscribe to, obviously, we really, really, really want you to subscribe to the YouTube. So if you're not a subscriber, I just put that up there on the screen right here. If you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe to YouTube, so you'll know exactly when our next shows and the like are going to be coming up. If you want to subscribe to the Paratalk podcast, I think episode 123 is coming out this week, which would be a good one. Shoot over to mindsetcentral.com, and you'll see all the Paratalks listed there. And you can subscribe through RSS feed and get those delivered directly into your podcasting app of choice. And yeah, I mean, thank you so much. Listen, keep listening. And Reeves, do you have any final words before we head off into the darkened night?
I noticed the Multilove said that was a nice clip to end on. You're welcome, and I hope you sleep really well now.
Yes.
Now that you've heard that.
Keep the light on.
Thank you to everyone that's come and supported us. As I say, if you're interested in all things paranormal, go over and subscribe to the Paratalk podcast. But hopefully this is the first live stream of many to come in the future.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll talk to you all really soon. Don't forget, subscribe. Tell your friends. We'll be back soon. Good
Cheers.
night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.